say it was the global financial crash of 2008, 2009. I was 23 years old at the time. I was a bit older. I think I was 25, 26 years old. It was all new to me. I really did not anticipate the global financial crash. And when it happened, being young, you're very driven, you're very ambitious. I thought we can build a company that will be able to go through this global financial crisis and continue to grow despite the global financial crash. Only to find out that I was wrong. I had to actually move with the tide, as they say, and I should have downscaled the operation a lot sooner. I should have pivoted the operation a lot sooner. So that was a pivotal moment for me. I'm very proud when I look back at that moment. It never occurred to me to close the business. It never occurred to me to give up. I did not want to lay off a single human being in the business, and we did not. We waited, and the different team members knew at the time that the business was not doing well. So different people started looking for jobs at that time. But we did not let anyone go. We allowed people to take their time until they found another job, with the last person who decided to leave left a year later until they found another job at the time. So that was the biggest learning curve for me. One, on preparedness. Two, on resilience. Three, on adaptability and being agile. And today, and sorry, not even today, since 2009, we became a lot more prepared in the organization. We map out exactly what scenarios could happen. You mentioned in another talk we had, you said nobody could anticipate COVID. In fact, you can anticipate. You can't anticipate the virus, but you can anticipate that every X number of years a pandemic is going to hit, because over the last 1,000 years that has been there. Yeah. So I'm constantly thinking, what's going to come next? Is it a pandemic? Is it an epidemic? Is it climate change? Geopolitical tensions, global economy. And we monitor, and I monitor all of these different factors because I don't want to be surprised again. And if something happens, going to my next point, I want us to be resilient. And I want to be resilient in the face of any sudden shock or sudden surprise that can come. And you'll be surprised, you can actually prepare yourself. And you can actually be prepared against most of these different circumstances, be it global recession, global economy, geopolitical situation, an epidemic, pandemic, etc. To a certain extent, of course, you can be prepared in a way so that when one of these major events happen, at least you're not starting from step 1. You're at least at step 5 out of 10, or maybe step 7, maybe step 8, depending on the circumstances and how prepared are you against those circumstances. So that enabled me to be more resilient. And again, going back to my childhood and the difficulties I faced in my childhood, and later on with the global financial crash, I realized we are all vulnerable when we're not prepared. So that really pushed me to become more resilient and become more adaptable and more agile in this fast-paced environment that we live in. So that was really one memory that I had that really changed the way I think and the way I operate. I am very lucky looking back now that I had it at a very young age. A lot of people at the time, because I had a lot of friends, everybody was affected by the global financial crash, whether you are a business owner or an employee or just a normal human being, or in the city. At the time, my colleagues would say, we're unlucky, we just graduated from university, we're just starting our careers, and we get hit by this recession, we can't find jobs, the jobs are not paying well, etc. In some positive moments during those times, I'd look at them and tell everyone, guys, actually, let's look at it differently. We're lucky that it's happening now that we're young, because we're gonna learn from this forever. And today, when I look at all of my friends and colleagues who were around in Dubai during the global financial recession, they are the most resilient people you can meet in your life. Whether they are running companies, owning companies, or being employees, they've all grown in their careers. They're all doing absolutely great, and they're all a lot more agile than they were. But obviously it was different from human to human. That experience was different from human to human. But I really cherish that experience a lot today when I look back at it. Yes, there was. But I want to go back a little bit to the way you framed the question, because you said that when someone thinks that their business is not doing well, that means financially it's not doing well. That's not how I look at it. In my opinion, when a business is not doing well, it means it's not doing well against their own strategy and what they wanted to accomplish, against their own objectives and goals. Because sometimes those goals and objectives are not short-term driven. And our goals, my goals, are always long-term. I always look 10 to 20 years in advance. I have goals that we put together in 2020, and we call them 2040 goals. They're goals that I want to accomplish, and we want to accomplish as a company between now and 2040. So I don't agree that a business performance is driven by its bottom line. I think if I am assessing my own business or a business trajectory, I look at it as to how the business is doing against its own objectives. Why is that important? Going back to the example of the 2008-2009 crash, and when I said we were not doing well, we had a lot of cash. I was sitting on cash when the global financial crash hit, that as a young kid at the time, I didn't know what to do with it. And I'm not the kind of person that loves brands and love investing in brands, or loves buying luxury, etc. I'm not that kind of a guy. So to me, the business we were sitting on a lot of cash. So financially, we were very healthy. Cash-wise, we were very healthy. But the business plan that we had in place and the strategy and tactics that we were following were all of a sudden obsolete, because circumstances has changed. The whole globe has changed, and now we had to pivot. Now we had to think of, what is it that we're going to do? I was able to use that cash to be able not to let go of anyone, and to be able also, I told you, I was young at the time, so I used to believe in a motto that said, it's not your market, it's your marketing. And I used to genuinely believe that no matter what the circumstances are, if you are heading in a particular trajectory, you should continue on that path and that trajectory despite market factors, and you will be able to attain it. Fast forward 18 years later, I still believe in that. I still believe that it's about your marketing, your way of doing things. And when we say marketing is not advertising or just, optics or the way you look at people. It's everything that drives your customer journey, to the way you are present in the industry, to your growth plan in the industry. So financially, we were doing well. We used all the cash over the next couple of years at the time on the business. The plans that we had in place during those 2 years did not materialize, and I used up all of the cash on the business, on the people, not wanting to let go of anyone, not wanting to downsize, etc., until we were really, really very tight on cash. And we went down from having millions of dirhams, without going into details, in the bank account of the company, to having about 5,000 to 10,000 dirhams in the bank account of the company. And that was the time when I said, okay, it was a wake-up call. The strategy that I was trying to really push through was not working, and I needed to pivot. And the turning point for me was during those 2008, 2009. I also had a lot of free time because business was down. We went from working 16 hours a day to maybe 4 hours being busy for 4 hours a day. And I used that time to study for my CPA, and I went to the States and did my certified public accountancy exams and got licensed as a CPA and continue to be licensed to this day. But I also did my studies in plots and real estate development with George Washington University at the time. And after gaining the necessary knowledge that I needed in land and in development, I started pivoting into helping landowners buy more land and putting plans, development plans for them as to what is it that they should do with those lands. And we signed a contract, a large contract in 2011 with a client who is still our client to this day. We still manage that project to this day, and that was a pivotal point for us in the company where we were able to move from serving B2C clients and doing advisory into really serving larger scale and a larger asset portfolio in the built environment. And we continue to serve that client to this day and continue to add value to that property to this day. But it was a very pivotal moment in my history and our history at the time.